I built a liquid glass effect that you can copy, and this is how it looks. And if you want to go crazy, bam! Hi, I'm Bernard from BetterStack.com, and in today's video I'll walk you through this liquid glass effect and show you how you can do it with just CSS and the subscribe button. Now, it's important to know the difference between Glassmorphism and liquid glass. Liquid glass has this ability to dynamically bend backdrop shapes, and spoiler alert, it's not that difficult to replicate. And so here I've started a new view project and I've made a card component with app icons that I can drag around so we can see how the background reacts as we move it. And in order for this glass refraction to work, we're gonna have to use SVG to create a custom filter. Because with SVG we have displacement map, and displacement maps let you add depth and texture to any elements. That being said, let's go through the whole process of imitating this liquid glass effect with displacement map and CSS. So in the card component, we have two elements that we need to have: the card itself, and in this card, I'm using a slot so that we can insert any kind of content. In my case, I added images. And below this, we have the SVG that is going to be used as the displacement filter. Now, if you take a look at the card class, we are using a filter property and we increase the brightness just a tiny bit. And after that, we added a blur, which is optional, by the way. It's up to you whether you prefer a clear glass or a glass that blurs the backdrop. And finally, the most important filter is the displacement filter. Now, the value that you apply to this URL must be the ID of the filter that you create here in the SVG. Now, let's take a look at our SVG filter. Inside of this, we have an image, and if you take a look at this data URI, we'll get this 2D image with gradient. If you're going to create an image like this, make sure that it's close to this and it's using red and green channels. Of course, you can use blue, but in the displacement map, you can only use two color channels. And speaking of channels, make sure that the image format supports RGB channels like PNG. And once you have the PNG file, you can just convert that into a data URI so that you don't have to upload it somewhere. Now, once we have the image, we can finally use the displacement map and set the input to the source graphic. Now, we just need to make sure that we set the X channel to red and the Y channel to green, because in my image, I only used red and green. And now we should have a card component that looks like a glass. Now, if somehow you can create an image, you can just use Turbulence and apply it to your displacement map. And you should get this weird texture which looks like an actual liquid or a block of ice. I'm aware that there's something missing to this glass effect, and that is the chromatic aberration, light behaviors, dynamic shadows, and backgrounds. I personally don't think they're possible to do with just CSS. At that point, you're gonna have to use shader-based solutions and JavaScript. So yeah, would you add this to your website? Let us know in the comments below. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. My name is Bernard, and I will see you in the next one.